Just one thought, just one idea. We create opportunities in who and what we are not in order to find who and what we are. That's something that is said in Conversations with God series by Neil Donald Walsh. And I always really have kind of allowed that to sink in and tried to look for an understanding and comprehension of it in my personal life. And now I think I get it. It's just, you don't know what you fit with until you try to fit somewhere else. When you're trying to put like a square peg in a round hole, it's obvious it doesn't fit, but you still try. You still try to do it. You still have like the square in the center of the circle, like, oh no, it fits. No, it doesn't fit. So I think that the biggest epiphany of my life has just occurred. I just found myself as an artist, not as a cover singer. And it's a big deal because when you get into cover bands, especially for codependent, and I've been codependent most of my life, which basically means more self-deficiency. You've had an occurrence in your life in the past that has kind of never allowed you to find who you are, because you've always had to be something else for somebody else, or had to conform or just kind of push yourself down in different circumstances. On that note, I was in a band for 8 years that it was a really dampening moment of the soul because it just doesn't fit. It's like a country girl being in a rock band. It wasn't that blatant though. And that's why I had to go through the experience of still doing it and conforming and doing everything that I was told to do the way that I was told to do it, fighting here and there to realize that, hey, this really doesn't fit, but oh, let me try again. And now I'm here in this position where all I have is a chorus with a bass line. And I can tell you that I braved so much to get to that point, to have the chorus with the bass line, and it was all worth it. When you have something, you have a product, you have something in front of you, something that you can hear, something you can share, and to you think back and it's like, oh yeah, sitting 4 hours in the cold to meet the drummer that encouraged me to do the originals with him, that led to me meeting the bass player tonight, to sit in the cold out on the beach to work out this structure and understanding of chords for what I've been singing a cappella is worth it. Okay. 20 years of being in California and moving over 27 times before I met my mate, and going through all of the hard things I've gone through was worth it. Whoa. You just are on the other side going, really? How can something so small be worth so much? And it's because of that. We create opportunities of who and what we are not to find who and what we are. And then when we find who and what we are, and it clicks so hard, it's reverberating throughout our entire soul. And there's a shift that occurs. I read this book, Mutant Messages from Down Under, and it was the first book that I read cover to cover in like 3 days. And it really affected me because of the journey that this woman goes on. It's supposed to be based on a true story. It's supposed to be a true story that she wrote. And it was relating to, the elders of the Aborigine culture. And so it's a very ancient culture. It's one of the most ancient cultures that say we come from the sky. And the way she went on a walkabout, she learned a lot of things from them. And they basically have like celebrations that are not birthdays when someone elevates. And the question kind of was like, well, how do you know? You just know. You just know. So this is my birthday celebration without having a birthday. My elevation party. Just one thought. Just one idea. Never easily understood. couldn't stop talking, although I should. Frustration raised and labels tossed in my face at a cost. Round and round it goes until you know authenticity. Try so hard to be nothing to deride, love and let it see. Authenticity, authenticity. Outcast it often taken too hard. Hold on to the scene, take me apart. Never the chance to see the truth, holding on to my youth. Years upon years until you seem to know authenticity. Everything to see, nothing to hide, my inequality. Authenticity, authenticity. Intrusive, take out the elusive. A student to my own mind, believing in the fact we conceiving, naming to find authenticity. Finally I'm free, nothing to deride, everything to be. Authenticity. Try so hard to see, now that I can fly in this reality of authenticity.
Many people believe that one of the best ways to improve oneself and become more positive is through light energy. This is Jack Kahn, and it's a matter of your health. I'll think about this. Growing numbers of people believe that one of the best and quickest ways to initiate a natural and sustainable process of change in oneself at a deep level is giving and receiving light energy and practicing universal principles such as gratitude.